Be Frank Network.
You're halfway there. Shoulders back. Tuck your chin in. Keep pushing. There it is. Perfect. Awesome. Good work. Take a break. Hello and welcome to another nifty-difty, hippity-dippity, super hydrated, slippery bippity episode of Muscle Spasms. I'm your friendly neighborhood host, Alicia Crownhine. And I'm here with Mara. Hey, man.
Hello. Go. Dehydration. That's me.
Yeah. So you guys might have gathered that we're probably going to talk about dehydration station.
Yes.
Mara knows a lot about that.
I sure do. Firsthand.
First gland, huh? First salivary gland. I mean, Mara, do you want to remind everyone what dehydration did to you in like a fun condensed version and why they need to really absorb all the information we're going to give to them right now?
Yeah, 100%. I had salivary gland stones. I had some that started in the parotid, which sounds like carotid, but it's with a P, parotid gland, which is over by the ear. And
the devil loves parotid. I'm sorry.
Yes, it does. And it gave me all these little jewels. And they moved into my other salivary glands. I could feel it move. Some doctors say you shouldn't be able to feel them. I definitely could feel them. And my face blew up. I will repost those pictures. It was insane. I looked like John Merrick, the Elephant Man, and same last name, same spelling. And
checks out.
And then because I was so swollen, it cracked my back tooth.
Oh my God.
And when I was getting it taken out, my oral surgeon found more stones.
Oh my God.
I know. I was supposed to get a sweet deal on getting my tooth removed, which dental work is expensive.
It ain't cheap.
And he was like, okay, I'm going to charge you this. And I was like, sick. And then we got out of surgery and he goes, I got to charge you this because we had to go into your jaw. And I was like, cool.
Great. And that all happened because Mara didn't want to have to pee, so she didn't drink. Right?
All true. All signs point to yes.
Yeah.
When we were training outdoors and we were going from house to house, and you can't go into any restaurant around here or anywhere really to go pee. None of the public restrooms were open because of Corona. So I limited my hydration so I would not have to pee the entire day.
Oh, man. When I was reading, I went on a deep dive on hydration yesterday because it is something that I talk to my clients about a lot. And I needed to find a way to prove to them that they will not get the fitness results that they want if they're not drinking water because it's inconvenient to pee. Cindy does the exact same thing. I love you, Cindy. I told her to listen to this episode. So, Cindy, you better be listening to this. And to prove that you listen to this, repeat this phrase to me: banana pancakes. And that's how I'll know you listen to it. She also doesn't like to drink water. And I mean, I think there's a whole mess of reasons, but you know, some people just don't enjoy drinking water. Like they don't naturally feel like doing it. And especially now with masks, we forget to do it even more. So people who are wearing masks a lot, you know, they're forgetting to like take the mask down, drink the water, put the mask back up. But what I've been asking her to do, what I've kind of finally figured out, the best method that I have found with clients who don't like drinking water: drink a glass of water first thing in the morning and just make sure to have an entire bottle of water between every meal. If you have a 3-meal day, have a bottle of water in between breakfast and lunch, and then have a bottle of water between after lunch, before a snack. If you're going to have a snack or whatever, have water after that. and then have your meal and then finish with water. So if you're having water between every meal, that's what's going to allow you to digest properly, because the reality is you need, I mean, this is, everyone's body is different, but the general fact that is out there is you need 100 milliliters of water per 100 calories to digest. Now, this does not break down the macros. So we know that protein takes 3 times more water to digest than a carb. And we know that fat takes longer to digest and also needs a little bit of extra water as well. But on average, a regular meal, 100 calories, you need like 100 milliliters of water to properly push it through your body and metabolize it in the optimized way.
And you're most dehydrated first thing in the morning. So yes, I 100% agree. Grab that full glass of water
Yeah.
in the morning. Throw some good stuff in it to make you want to drink it. Lemon, who cares? Just do it. I have a foolproof way of getting people to drink water. You ready for it?
So ready.
Okay, so what I do is I show them what my face looks like without water, and then I show them what my face looks like with water, because I have that picture. When you don't drink water, you look 10 years older minimum.
Yeah.
I'll do a side by side with my face. I'll put it up on the old gram. Hydrated face, old ass face, dehydrated face.
And this
100%.
is not something you can fix with creams or face masks, or there's Botox. None of it is going to work unless your skin is hydrated. You can't fake this.
No.
It's an unfortunate truth. And I have some interesting stats here. Okay. All right, this is kind of like a long blurb, and it has some numbers in it, and I just bear with me. I'd like to read through it. It has a lot of interesting stuff in it. Ahem. Keep in mind, this was a study done in Saudi Arabia. So keep in mind the dietary differences and climate difference. They're in a much hotter environment as far as hydration goes. However, that doesn't really apply to what I'm about to read to you right now. So, in healthy adults with normal body mass index, water accounts for 60% of their body weight. A person can become dehydrated if they lose as little as 3% of their body weight from water depletion. 3% of your body weight from water depletion. So when you wake up hungover because you had a bunch of vodka the night before and you're like, oh my God, I look so skinny, you've probably lost like a certain percentage of your water. And the loss of body mass with no water intake is associated with poor memory and attention. Studies have reported dehydration by 1 to 2%. Dehydration impairs cognitive performance and impacts psychomotor and memory skills, and a fluid deficit of 4% decreases performance, causes headaches, irritability, sleepiness, and increases respiratory rate with an increase in temperature. But the temperature is primarily among children, so kids will get a fever if they're dehydrated, whereas adults not so much. And dehydration will also impair muscle endurance and decreases your strength. So if you're dehydrated trying to work out, trying to lose weight, one, the water is making you, or being dehydrated is making you hold on to your weight because you're not digesting your food properly. And two, your muscles aren't functioning properly because they need water to function. And fluid depletion of more than 8%. 8% means you die.
Dead.
Yeah, dead if you're water depleted by more than 8%. So we're talking about 8% of that average 60% of body mass index water normal rate. So those are, that was well said, Alicia, but those are some really interesting stats, because how many times have you been like, I can't think straight, like everything hurts, I can't lift, I'm not really hungry, everything's cloudy, I have a headache, I'm mad at everyone, and you try to think about the last time you had water, and maybe you're just dehydrated. And I see it a lot.
And we've talked about this before, but your hormone ghrelin goes off, which is your hunger hormone. It goes off when it cannot determine what it needs. So it just sends out this hunger signal when you're hungry, thirsty, or you need sex, or you need sleep.
Hmm.
And it just is like, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. So people feed it with food, which then dehydrates you because you need more water. When really, you should just try having a little sippy sip of water or maybe a big old gulp
Hmm.
and see if that's going to quench that little growl in your tummy first.
There was actually a study done that speaks to that. So first, because I know that this is the main thing that people care about, let's talk about water and fat loss, and then I'll get into some of the studies that talk about, some of the less aesthetic, maybe less sexy reasons why you should drink water.
Okay.
Number one, this speaks to what you were saying. Water is a natural appetite suppressant. So here's one of the studies that I was thinking of. In a 2014 study, 50 overweight females drank 500 milliliters of water 30 minutes before breakfast, lunch, and dinner, in addition to their regular water consumption for 8 consecutive weeks. The participants experienced a reduction in body weight, body fat, and body mass index. They also reported appetite suppression. So obviously, it wasn't a control group situation. They were just watching these 50 women, but that was the only thing that they changed. They ate normally, they lived their lives normally. They just had to drink 500 milliliters of water 30 minutes before breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they lost a shitload of weight well, not a shitload, but a clear reduction in body weight, but not just body weight, body fat. And body fat is very hard to get rid of. So
Hmm.
the proof that just that excess water consumption allowed them to metabolize stored fat, which is the hardest thing to get rid of, should really, really open up some eyes here for people who don't like the inconvenience of peeing. And water also increases calorie burning. I'm not crazy about this study, but I'm going to say it just because I think we should talk about it because I don't agree with it. This was another 2014 study. 12 people who drank 500 milliliters of cold and room temperature water experienced an increase of energy expenditure. So they burned between 2 and 3% more calories than usual in the 90 minutes after drinking the cold water. So water may also temporarily increase the body's resting energy expenditure or the number of calories burned while resting. And to me, this just says drink cold water because it'll make your body work harder to warm it up, and it's your quick fix for getting skinny.
I think that's the same concept as cryotherapy because your body is trying to fight to get back to a warm temperature.
Right.
So, yes. And I think having a study of 12 people is not great.
Yeah.
There needs to be like thousands and thousands.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, most of the points that I'm like more enthusiastic, I presented this point as like I don't like this point, but the points that I'm enthusiastic about, there are more studies about it, and I will
You
post
have
those.
more on weight loss water facts?
Do I have more on weight loss water facts?
Correct, yes.
I do. Yeah. Water helps to remove waste from the body, as we know. It helps the kidneys filter toxins and waste while the organ retains essential nutrients and electrolytes. So while the body is dehydrated, the kidneys retain all of that fluid, and dehydration can result in hard or lumpy poops and constipation. So water will keep the waste moving by softening or loosening the hardened stools. And it also helps the body recover from digestive problems, diarrhea, indigestion, because when the waste builds up in the body, people feel bloated, swollen, tired. We kind of covered all of that before. But bloating from dehydration can literally like add inches to your waist. Like that's where the waist is held, like near your waist. So like the fupa area, that part where you're putting on your leggings and you're like, this fit different before. So vanity can work for anything. Make it work for that.
Yes.
Another problem is that water is boring, so we replace it with other things that are dehydrating. And it's easy to accumulate liquid calories by drinking soda, juice, sweetened coffee, and tea. So people who don't like drinking water, they still drink things. They drink something else. And those other things likely have a slightly higher caloric content. So there is a bunch of different studies, but one of these studies found that replacing 2 or more high caloric beverages for non-caloric drinks every day for 6 months resulted in an average weight loss of between 2 and 2.5% in a group of females with obesity. This was another 500-person study. They just got them to not drink soda a couple times and instead replace it with water, and literally just changing a few of their beverages throughout the day did show a fat loss results.
Okay, I can give you a real client fat loss from soda.
Let's hear it.
1 week, cut out soda, all soda, 1 week, 10 pounds.
Like, my God.
10 pounds in 7 days.
That's insane. That's more than a pound a day.
That's so many pounds.
So many pounds.
It's a staggering, possibly unhealthy amount of pounds to lose in a week, but it could just be like he's finally flushing things out of his body.
I don't know that many people who drink soda. Like, I'm thinking of the people who drink their matcha lattes and stuff because they're healthy and that's the thing that they drink. But they're like 200 calories, right?
They're not just 200 calories. Those have 300. Starbucks? Whew, you're looking at 3 to 800 to those one Frappalappa deliciousnesses.
Oh, girl.
2,000 calories.
I worked there back in the day.
No.
As a teenager, I read the ingredients and I read the calorie content. And since I was I think I was like 20. Since I was calorie obsessed, I did read all of it. And good Lord, I have not eaten something from Starbucks since.
I have not had Starbucks in so long, but I'm like, I'll just have a black coffee and then eat something delicious because I don't want to waste 400, 500 calories on a fucking coffee.
Yeah, it's wasteful. But like, if that's the thing that brings you joy, if you're like, man, I love my, cinnamon dolce, like soy latte even the skinny ones, you can get a skinny latte. They're just using aspartame syrup in it. It's still all the same stuff and reduced fat milk. And we all know that reduced fat milk only tastes like milk still because they replaced the fat with sugar. So,
I used to go to this workout place, and it was called Del Mar Workout in Del Mar, California, just outside of San Diego. And I would go with my aunt. It was my favorite thing. It was the hardest workout of my life. I was like 15, 16. And then every time she would take me to get a Frappuccino right afterwards. I earned this. And then later down the road, I was like, what a waste.
You just replaced everything that you did.
It was the hardest workout of those beach women. They go hard.
Like beach body women?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was insane.
They're terrifying.
They're terrifying. There's a place you have to fight for a spot in the room. Everybody's on top of each other. There's a lot of side eye. I'm scared.
This is why I can't do classes. I love teaching classes, but I hate being in them. They're so scary. There's so many people. There's so much stimuli.
I giggled in a yoga class because the instructor got the word wrong yesterday, and you would have thought I shot the instructor, the amount of people that looked over at me, because I just was like, she said a really funny word, and she caught it, and She laughed. She made a joke, so I laughed. And then they were like, I was like, oh my God.
See, this is why you got to go to Sarah Strimmel's yoga class. Damn good yoga, everyone. I will never stop preaching her choir. She would have laughed right along with you. I fucking hate that about those pretentious yoga classes. Who do you think you are? Congratulations, you're flexible. You don't need to be mean. I'm trying to better myself right now.
Yeah, chill out.
You're not that important. Let me work out. Get over yourself. Ugh.
Okay, so hydration can also, being hydrated can reduce your blood pressure.
Yes.
And having elevated blood pressure can give you anxiety symptoms. So if you are ever feeling super anxious, try drinking some water. You're probably dehydrated.
Yes. And actually, pro tip for people who take anxiety medication or any kind of ADHD medication, those are dehydrating. And ADHD medication specifically, I know there are a lot of people out there who are on things like Adderall, Vyvanse, etc. Those are dehydrating, and they do raise your blood pressure. Like your blood goes faster. It's a stimulant. It wakes you up. It promotes focus, but you get incredibly dehydrated with it. So if you are on a medication that is a stimulant or is dehydrating, have some electrolytes with your water like once a day. Like start your day with like a noon tablet or something, and that, or a coconut water, and make sure you're maintaining that water consumption throughout the day, because if you're not drinking your water with it, you will be getting those like inability to focus, think straight, all of those irritable symptoms that those medications are helping. It will then reverse, and you will get those symptoms much worse than you would, because they are also the symptoms of dehydration. So do be very mindful of water consumption if you have any kind of psychoactive medication that you're on, and do some research on that and how hydration affects that, because we don't need to be making our lives harder right now by just cheating ourselves out of little things that we can do to help our sanity.
And if you are on ADHD meds, they are a stimulant, yes, as Alicia said, and it can disrupt your sleep as well. And being dehydrated also disrupts your sleep. So double down, baby.
Yeah.
Because that's a scary cycle to get into.
It is, and it's one of those cycles that once you get into it, it's hard to get out of it. You kind of have to pull back for a bit. You kind of have to detox a little bit. So it's better to just monitor your water consumption, better to monitor your food consumption with your water, and make sure that, you know, you're not just sipping a LaCroix all day. Or how are you supposed to say it? LaCroix? I know Americans say LaCroix, but like it looks French, so I would say LaCroix, right?
Yes, LaCroix.
Yeah, but every American says LaCroix.
Every American also eats McDonald's, so we're not.
But like bandier should be pronounced bandier.
I thought it was for a long time.
Yeah, and it should be because it's French. Anyway, please, if you are on any kind of like a medication that affects the way you think, be really on your water consumption, because that shit will build up in your system. And if it builds up in your system, we've went through all of those horrible symptoms that dehydration cause. They will be elevated like to a next level, and it will be very hard to get out of. So just take care of yourself. Just know what's going into your body.
Yes, and you'll have to start taking, if you're dehydrated, and with benzodiazepams, any sort of antipsychotic, anything like that. If you're dehydrated and you're taking them, and then you get further dehydrated, it takes more pill for it to start working in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're hydrated, then you will need less.
Yep.
Just like diabetes medicine, if you're hydrated, you'll need less insulin. You'll need less. So
Right.
Let's not let the pharmacy win here.
Yeah.
Let Yeah.
You probably don't need to up your dose. You
Right.
it's I mean, it's like food. It's something that you are consuming, and if we just told you how much water you need to digest food. So,
Mhm.
you need that same amount of water to digest a complex chemical compound, possibly more because it's foreign to your body. Your body's going to need more help with it. Not to mention, you should take most of these medications with food. If you're not on it yet, I mean, if you're not like on top of your water consumption yet, get on it.
Yes.
Just be careful. Just be careful. And I do have some warning signs of dehydration because, sometimes we don't really know. We're just like, I feel shitty. But dehydration specifically, most people know that when you pee, if your pee is really dark, that means you're dehydrated. You want it to be pretty close to like clearish, light yellow.
Mhm.
And other warning signs, bad breath. Decreased amount of urine, so you're peeing less, which is convenient for some people, as we know. Dry mouth and swollen tongue, sluggishness, fatigue, and sugar cravings, which we know about. And some of the more severe ones that you really, really need to deal with right away if you start to notice: confusion, dizziness, fainting, heart palpitations. And that, again, combined with any kind of medication, you need to be incredibly aware of. And please, if you do have any of these confusion, dizziness, fainting, heart palpitations, at any point, please ask a doctor if you're doing the right things, if it's as simple as your water consumption, if it's an allergy. Let's just be mindful of what's happening in our bodies, and drinking water is gonna at least get rid of the dehydration symptoms so we can find out if there's anything else wrong.
Going to the doctor for being dehydrated at this point is like when a guy gets a mouse stuck up his asshole. It's like, it's embarrassing. You're like, the
Yeah.
doctor's like, drink water and
Mhm.
you'll feel better.
Right. And it's like it seems so easy.
It's so simple. I give myself a goal every day. I split a gallon of water with my dog. I pour
Oh
half
my.
in there and then I drink the rest. We both have to drink our water every day.
You guys are so cute. I just peed a little. Aw.
Then sometimes at night, I have to chug the rest of my water.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm glad you're doing it. I don't wanna have to hear about your sour gravy moments anymore. Ew. I hate it.
Oh, gross.
Oh, so remember when you were saying how when you were biking with a mask on, you felt that it was extra dehydrating? And I've heard multiple people say that wearing masks is dehydrating. That is exclusively because we forget to drink the water. The fact that we're breathing in and out of the mask,
Mhm.
that is not a thing. So wearing a mask in itself is not dehydrating. So it's not something that we can blame for that. But it does make us drink less water because it makes it inconvenient. However, don't be scared to, wear your mask on your bike, because you think that you're going to be losing all of that water.
Yes,
Yeah, that's all.
it happens.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to check in with your body. There's so many other things that we have to think about right now, like keys, phone, wallet, mask, water bottle. Did I eat today? Like, did I lock my door? Is my oven on? Where's my cat? Am I wearing socks? I'm not sure. What day is it? It's hard to just remember to drink water, but if we drink water, we'll be better at remembering those things.
Yes, yes. And only 20% of our aging is determined by our genes. The other part is determined by our activity levels, how our stress during the day. Our amount of sleep is a major factor in how we age. And hydration is the other top factor. So sleep and hydration are the two top factors in anti-aging. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you hydrated? And if you have those two things, you're gonna be the J-Lo of the regular people, like
And those are the two things it's impossible to get people to do who want to look like J-Lo.
I know.
I want to say I don't get it, but I get it. I do the same thing.
You also get rid of your bags under your people pay millions of dollars to get their bags. All you have to do, drink a fucking glass of water.
It does help. It real does. But also, there's so much sodium and shit in our food now. So, if you're adding processed food to your dehydration, you're also screwing yourself over. I was reading, one of these other studies that like made me mad. One of these other health articles that said, if you have trouble drinking water, have foods that have more water in them, like soup. And I was like, excuse fucking me? You're recommending soup to a you're recommending like salt water, a salt lick? Yeah, you're dehydrated. Go pour some salt into your mouth. So my food tip is going to tackle better ways to do that.
So
But
we go into our food tip?
yeah, this could be like a fun little short episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not, man?
Let's do it.
Can I just talk about hydration and cardiovascular function real quick?
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to touch on it. It was just less sexy than the fat loss. Okay, so this is just one study that they did in Ohio. I just want to like make everyone care about their hearts, not about whether or not they're broken or taken care of, but whether or not they work and they're going to keep us alive for a while. So it was a hydration status and cardiovascular function, effects of hydration enhancement on cardiovascular function at rest and during psychological stress in Athens, Ohio. So this study examined the effects of a 3-day enhanced hydration regimen on resting cardiac function and reactivity to acute stress. Healthy volunteers, 14 male, 14 females, were assigned to one of two groups, enhanced hydration and normal hydration. So the enhanced group, they were given 6 1-liter bottles of water and instructed to drink 2 bottles a day in addition to their normal fluids for 3 days preceding their lab session. The normal group, they didn't get any extra water. They just like lived their lives. So the heart rate, systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure, cardiac output, stroke volume, total peripheral resistance were all recorded. This is all heart stuff. This is all just like the way that your heart functions. They were recorded during a 10-minute baseline, a 6-minute paced auditory serial addition test, and 5-minute recovery. Okay, this is like very complicated, but the point is the results suggest that a 3-day hydration enhancement influences blood pressure reactivity in both men and women, and long-term hydration enhancement is related to resting gender differences in cardiac function. So men and women have different levels of cardiac issues throughout their lives. And this is not a conclusive study that is making a thesis based on that, but I found it incredibly interesting that men and women, when hydrated or not hydrated, had the same kind of cardiac results with their water consumption. And it just made me deeply curious about learning what gender, if we're going to simplify and just say male and female right now, we recognize that gender is a spectrum, but let's simplify it for this. What is the difference between cis male, cis female water consumption that makes it so that there are different levels of cardiac output in adulthood? I was just curious about it, and I have no conclusive things to say about it. I just wanted to think about it. I wanted everyone to think about it.
Well, yes, and we have our high heart rate, which is at 226 for females and 220 for males. So there's already that differential there. And women do way more with their lives. So there's also that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want to add one more thing too that's interesting. We should revisit that.
Mhm.
I want to add one more thing before we get into our stuff. Also, a lot of times, and we've touched on this before, a lot of times clients are like, I had a drink of water right before the session. How could I be dehydrated? I'm like, because your body doesn't have time to process that water that you just drank 2 seconds before walking into the gym.
Yeah.
But it does have time to process that water that you had 3, 2, 1 days before the gym. If you don't drink water the day before you're going in for a workout, you will see the difference
Mhm.
in your output, in your strength, in your cardio. It's insane how
It
much
really is.
it
Sorry.
really is.
Mhm.
But if you stay hydrated, get lit with that water, you know what I mean? Like every day, hustle in with the water. Uh, your output in all of life, work, home, sleep, fitness,
Fitness.
fitness, you'll be able to get to those deadlifts.
Mhm.
You'll be able to get those PRs.
Yep.
So just drink water.
Yeah, and listen, I've mentioned this before. We've talked about this before. A great tip is a noon tablet before bed will help you hold on to some of your water. But also, if you do find water super boring and you want an elevated output in the gym, have a little bit of creatine every day. That is going to help you hold water in your muscles. It can be dehydrating in large doses, though. So if
It
you're
also is cyclical, so 6 weeks is
that
max.
was debunked, but we can talk about that on another
Ooh,
episode.
let's talk about that later, but even through the said principle, it was debunked?
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
just don't know
Um,
if I that.
Honestly, I have creatine every day. I'm in the best shape of my entire life.
You're rocking those Amazon.
These leggings. Thank you.
Are you varying your amount that you're having?
I mean, there are some days that where I just forget to take it, but usually it's just a little bit. It's a tiny bit, it's constant. It's like taking a daily multivitamin for me, you know? Like
Mhm.
if you take anything every day, it's not like you're eating a banana every day. It's like you're taking your vitamin D every day because your doctor said you're low on vitamin D, and you will see your increase in your vitamin D, and maybe you'll hit a level and you'll be fine. And I haven't hit a level where I've been like, I feel like this creatine isn't working for me anymore. Like it does. I do feel like I'm holding more water in the right places, and it continues to help my lifts, and it continues to help me focus. It works for me. I'm not gonna say it works for everyone, but Professor Chase Stone, Chase Stone, sent me a study fairly recently debunking the need to creatine cycle, and actually just like whenever you consume it, it works how it works, and it's not gonna do anything like good or bad if you consume it every day or never. However, if you have specific bodybuilding goals with a specific workout program, a cycle would be beneficial for you. But for me, it's great. I use it all the time.
Also, that study was, done on bodybuilders that were putting themselves through intense fitness and nutrition restrictions.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just they burnt out their whole life.
right. And not to mention that cycling is confusing. Like, I'm not gonna tell the average person to like creatine cycle. Like it's almost this elitist, weird, like Arnold Schwarzenegger gold gym kind of thing to do. And, it's still in our textbooks. This is how you creatine cycle. But let me tell you, I have tried to creatine cycle. I had the worst indigestion, bloat, discomfort. Like creatine cycling, you have to have a much larger amount to like stuff it in your body, and then you just stop taking it all of a sudden. Whereas
Right.
a tiny bit of creatine that I'm just casually sipping throughout the day, I feel stronger than I've ever felt.
Well, going back to just plain water, if you are having a tough time drinking it because you think it's boring, I'm sorry to say this, but tough.
Yeah.
I don't care. You have to wash your clothes, and that's not fun. You still do it. Drink the water. I know it's
Mhm.
not fun. Just drink it. You're an adult human.
Yeah.
You're not a child trying to eat a piece of broccoli and crying. You're a human being, an adult one that can make his own choices and pick this podcast. So I know you can do it.
Get a soda stream, put a splash of lemon juice in it, make it interesting. I drink soda all day, every day because I think water is boring too.
Throw a cucumber in there. Make it spa-like.
Do you, boo?
Do you. Just get that water in.
That's it.
Okay, we ready to bring in the
Let's
tunes?
bring in the tunes. Hell yeah! Hey, everybody, we're rolling out for another super sweet segment of Food Tip of the Week. So, that article that I read that said if you're dehydrated, eat soup filled with sodium. And I say phooey to that. So I am going to show you how to lightly saute your vegetables and how to properly cook your vegetables so that you are retaining the nutrients and the water content as you eat them. Because we all know that salads get boring as hell. You can't just eat salads every day. But also, I bet when you've tried to saute up some vegetables before, you're like, ew, it's so squishy. So specific vegetables have specific cooking